Good morning. My name is Graham Day, and I'm absolutely joined by Bib, who was sat ready and waiting in his seat for the stream and didn't just jump out
I wish I
for
had
a
an
bit of water
actual
then.
scoop today.
Boy, I wish I had an actual scoop today. Me too, chappers. Thank you very much for 25 months. Hey, Bib. That's a nice tall glass of water you got there.
There's some of the finest soft water ever, Graham. I love you,
Exclamation mark Discord if you want conversations about the hard to softness of your water, or just be extremely boring on the internet. It's fine. Well. Chappers.
What's acceptable?
Thank you very much for 25 months. Starting the week with a 25-month sub. Woo, I do wish I had an actual scoop today. It's ridiculously warm. As you can tell, Bibby has a fan behind him. I have a fan just behind me, not in shot. So hopefully the audio is good for you guys without too much in the background. But it's that or death. And we're not a fan of the second one, so it is what it is. If you're in the chat, please do feel free to get involved. Do let us know that you're here. As JMK has done, nice and early. Nietzsche with a little bit of lovely spam, a wonderful spam. Look at all those emotes. Ooh. We haven't half spent a bit of time making emotes on this channel. Look at that. That is ridiculous. Question, though.
Yeah.
Do you know the hello, the GG, the ish, the let's go and the rip? Are those animated for you guys? Because they don't animate in my Chrome browser anymore. But they do when I look at the stream in Edge. Do they animate for you, or are they static?
Do you know what? You know, when we had this discussion, it was either last week or the week before, and there wasn't animating for me. When I went into somebody else's stream and used them, they animated.
What?
It was bizarre. I can't remember who it was that we ended up raiding like 2 days after we had the conversation. It could have been Fixer, so I just put the good morning or the oh hello, and it animated. I don't know. I don't understand it. It just obviously our own emotes don't like our fucking channel anymore.
Yeah. Average. Not pro streamers at all. God damn. Viv, good mornish. I'll read after morning, everyone else. How are we all doing? Why the actual fuck are you wearing a jumper? It's not so much a jumper, it's just a long sleeve football shirt.
I had the same question. Despite us being on having a conversation for the last 2 hours on Discord, I haven't been able to see what you've been wearing. But wearing a football shirt in this weather, it's a crime. It is a crime.
Do you not
I immediately think that people stink. I know you never stink. You always smell quite nice.
No,
I imagine people who wear football shirts in this weather stink.
I have this conversation. There's certain football shirts made out of certain materials that I will not wear. I'll buy shirts, and I'm like, that's a nice shirt, and then I'll put it on, I'll be like 7 seconds later, like, I can smell me. So I'd try not to wear that football shirt ever again. Whereas this is made out of like a really good breathable material. So even though it looks thick and it's long sleeved and it's dark, it's actually really cooling. So this is really good. I actually feel cooler in this than in a lot of my cotton t-shirts, kind of like the one that Bib's wearing there. So this isn't too bad. This is a good one, this one. So Adidas have done good. That said, I have multiple other Adidas United shirts that stink. So this one's a good one. This one's a good one. But anyway, enough of my armpit talks. How are we all doing? Welcome in.
Smells like barbecue.
I wish. They're animated. I'm on Edge, and they're animated nice. I mean, I use Opera, which uses Chrome as a base, and they work for me. Edge uses Chrome as a base, well, Chromium as a base, and so everything apart from the actual base browser, which is what we're using, and it's shit in the bed. But I don't understand. So I'm actually looking at them here in OBS's chat preview. But then when I open up the actual let me hit that. So in the dashboard on Twitch, I wonder if it's just a dashboard thing. Let me open up our actual channel then. Let me open up twitch.tv/Ice Cream Floods and see if they're animated there. Nope, not animated there. What? Don't get it. But anyway, if you're in the chat, please do feel free to get involved. If you don't know who we are, if you don't know what we're doing, if you don't know what this is, well, my name is Graham. This is Bib. We're Ice Cream Uploads, and this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. We are live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, where we go live each and every single weekday. And if you ignore the fact that we only went live twice last week, we do go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m.
ish.
correct. 10 a.m.-ish. The time now is 12:23, which is exactly 10 a.m.-ish, as we said. So we do go live at 10 a.m.-ish each and every single weekday on twitch.tv/icecreamuploads. But it's not just about the live stream. We might bring you the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories. We might give you our thoughts and impressions, but we want to hear your thoughts and impressions, and then your thoughts and impressions, and our thoughts and impressions. But it also gets turned into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud and Google Play. So please, if you're in the stream, do feel free to get involved on behalf of all of the beautiful people, over 130,000 of them, that have watched and listened and streamed and downloaded this podcast on demand. So please do feel free to get involved. Before we jump into anything, a couple of things to mention. First of all, exclamation mark, this is a while back now, subathon. So we reached 420 subs. And news of the community meetup will be hitting the Discord soon, said that chat bot update about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, soon-ish. Well, that news will be hitting the Discord hopefully today, if not tomorrow. We'll start to put news in there. We have already started to create a form so people can signal their intent if they want to come to the ICU community meetup, which will be taking place on the 13th of August at the ICU studio. We'll have food, we'll have drinks, we'll have a live stream throughout, and we'll hopefully have a bunch of you guys joining us in the studio. The Discord will have the details today/tomorrow. So if you're not in Discord, do feel free to jump in now. As well as that, not only do we have a big event coming next month, we also have a big event coming in just under 2 weeks. On the 30th of this month, we will have the biggest live streamed event that we have ever had on this channel. That is the PUBG Royale Rumble. 16 different content creators will be leading out their own squads into the battlegrounds for your viewing pleasure, and some prizes and stuff on the way, but it's primarily for your viewing pleasure. We'll have some stupid games, we'll have some semi-serious games, and we'll have some downright batshit crazy games. Spread over 5 hours of content. So do please feel free to go to our Twitter, check out our pinned post. We will eventually get an PUBG RR command set up, but today is not the day. And as well as that, a quick reminder that if you are sticking around for the Royal Rumble at the end of the month, for the community meetup next month, then you might want to throw a sub down. Maybe you've got a Prime or something that you've not used. Loot drop. Do that and you can bag yourself some prizes, which if you do win, you can pick it up in person at the meetup. How cool is that? Let's go!
Yeah, let's go.
For now, though, it's ridiculous to one bib. We wouldn't be British.
Stupid to one.
If we weren't talking about the fact that it's a bit moist. You a bit moist?
Very damp.
In places that are supposed to be damp. God damn.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like the amount of water I've drank this morning itself is ridiculous. However, I've done it before, but it still always baffles me. So I haven't got it. I've took it downstairs, but I've got like a metal travel cup. Shall you call it what do you call it? An insulated cup. Is that the word? Anyway,
don't call it thermos because that's a brand name, and other flasks are available.
It's a bit bigger than this, and you can fill it with ice, literally all the way up to the top. And then if you pour a brew into it, the brew instantly goes cold. Now I know that sounds straightforward. It sounds very simple, but I genuinely always felt that when you did that, the brew would still be a bit warm for a very short amount of time, but it's like instantly cold. That's what I say. Make iced coffee. So I've had 2 of those this morning as well, which has been quite nice. A little change of pace rather than having to go down to Costa down the road to have a really nice one. But you can't beat a traditional glass of water with ice, can you?
Oh, yesterday, I imagine was the hottest day of the year so far at that point. And we were in the shed, emptying the shed out. Great plays. We were just like, it's too hot to go outside. Should we go into a shed and lift all sorts of shit and take it to the tip and stuff? But I feel like a massive weight has been lifted because we had obviously the builder dudes in for about 7 years trying to fucking fit some wardrobes. They finally finished that stuff now. So we've got rid of shitloads of stuff. So the house is just clean and accessible, which also means that we've got access to, firelighters and coals and things that we had in the shed now, which means barbecue weather, baby.
Yeah. I'll have a bit of that tonight,
Oh, yes.
I have to go out and get some coals, though.
Oh, do you know what? Actually, now you're saying it, I say we've got coals. I don't think we have. We had coals, but now I'm thinking about it, I don't think I saw coals. I saw the firelighters, and I saw like lighter fluid and stuff like that, but I don't think we have coal.
The best thing in the world are those bags that you can just set on fire, and they have all the firelighters inside and the coals ready for you to be able to go. Like they are perfect. We use them on Saturday. Perfect. Like it doesn't take as long for the charcoal to like go and get hot. Like if you got normal charcoal with firelighters, it takes forever. But with those bags, it just burns straight away. Like they start to go white pretty instantly. I think it's because they're a lot smaller in those bags, so it doesn't take as long. But yeah, it's gas barbecue. Viv, come on, mate, fucking gas. I mean, I'm not being a snob or anything like that, which I kind of am when it comes to barbecuing. But go have the coals, man. Like it's a little bit more time and effort, but when you want to burn your sausage, it still tastes quite nice, rather than using a fucking frying pan.
Hey, just stand back. You don't burn your sausage, love. You're getting too close. Some of us obviously have to stand further back than others. Woo, les. Okay, that's enough of that. Enough penis innuendo. Gas barbecue. See, I'd take a gas barbecue. It's just the effort of having to like, you know, buy the big fucking kudunk, the big. What do you even call them? Jars. Bottles?
Canisters.
Bottles?
Gas
yeah.
canister.
I mean, in my brain's like, it's a gas bottle. And I'm thinking it's not a bottle because it's bigger made out of metal. It's not a bottle. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Just got my barbecue ready. Nacho, are we talking gas or coal? What we're saying. The best one to ask, I imagine, would be West because he's got like a black belt in barbecue, I think. Coal. I mean, if someone came along with a very snazzy, like, gas barbecue, I would be like, yes, please. I will take one of those bad boys. But I am coal through and through. That said, I do like the burner bag stuff because we did a barbecue at my mum's a couple of weeks ago, and it was not the greatest coal. So obviously you have to wait for the fuel kind of stuff to burn off, so you don't have like fire. You've just got the heat for the cooking. And it was like 7 days. I'm stood there like fucking Craig David stood there. I bought this coal on Monday. I tried to light the cunt on Tuesday. We were starving fucking Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And eventually we got a couple of half-cooked sausages on the Sunday. Let's go. Okay, let's go back. Why the actual fucking
think that you're still wearing it? Yeah, people genuinely think that's a jumper.
It's a long sleeve football shirt, so it's actually not that bad. It's not that bad. Long sleeve black shirt. It's dark blue. I'm gonna wear. Do you know what I'm gonna stream tomorrow? I'm gonna wear a fucking big thick hoodie and a onesie at the same time. Ooh. Where did we get to? Keep going. When we're talking about picking up the prizes in person, Chappers says, how am I going to pick up a Steam code for Mario Strikers in person? And then he says, I realised my issue there, don't worry. Yeah, because my brain was instant like, don't worry, if it's a Steam code, we can write it on a piece of, wait, Mario Strikers in Nintendo. How are you? And then he's got it already. So you may have seen me smile. I'll be able to just cook the food on my forehead. Nice! Backup barbecue in Nietzsche for the meetup. Let's go. We barbecue almost everything every night. Briquettes would be timely and expensive. That's true.
Yeah,
the thing is, though, gas barbecue is just like there you go. Well, there's none of the me bring fire sort of like element. And usually it's not me bring fire. It's me bring 25 minutes of scratching my head. And shall I just put a little bit more wood in that? Is that too much paper? Is it? Have I suffocated it now? Fuck it. Light a fuel all over it. It's on fire. Natural fire.
My barbecue is also a smoker, which I still haven't used yet. So what I might do is just pick up like a 7 or 8 pound tester rather than going out and buying like a 20, 30 pound like beef shoulder or something like that. I don't want to fuck it up basically. So just testing out with something small like a rack of ribs, maybe the best option rather than just throwing money at it and then it just not working very well. I can't
keep it in the bag because I've tried to recruit West to do our barbecueage for when we have the meetup, and naturally he's going to have some world class barbecue. So I'm going to try and get West to bring. Yeah, so I get him to bring his gear. I mean, West will be coming up in like a camper van full of like just barbecue bits. I was like, I only wanted to cook a few burgers. It'll be like something like from a futuristic sci-fi film, just doors open, things unravel and start falling out.
He brings his own apron. That's what that is a man of culture. Do you know what I mean? You can't barbecue without an apron.
So yeah, we'll see. Just get him to show you how to use a smoker, and then you'll be like, when you go home in front of the family, you'll be like, yeah, I'm doing this all the time. Nice. There you go. Easy peasy. They're thinking of banning the bags because they are common cause of moor fires. Are they really? I know there was conversations about that with disposable barbecues as well, though, so I'm not sure. It's like you'd have to ban lighters as well, because they light the bags, which are a common cause of moor fires. You've got to ban people. People are the problem there, not so much the guns don't kill people. People do. Meat, chicken dinner, and sausages. What, on one barbecue? Chicken dinner? What, a couple of Yorkshire puddings? Yes, please. Kick puncher, hey! Welcome in, KP. How are we doing? Graham wearing a hoodie when the sun is destroying us. It's not hardy! It's a long-sleeve football shirt, I think you'll find. This is the United foosball shirt. But we'll have another conversation in that in 20 minutes when people also come in and
I feel like you need to put some text on your overlay on your where you are, just to go like a star asterisk thing. This is not a hoodie.
Do you know what? If I didn't think adding a new source into this scene wouldn't make my OBS just blue screen, I would definitely have just typed that in there and have it as like an on-off button. Someone comes in and goes... naked chef apron. Well, do you know, that's actually what I was thinking. Just from the front, West is like professional barbecuer. From the back, it's just cheeks. Do you know what? Where's my wiki emote? I'm pretty sure we got a gifted to Wiki the other day. There we go. From the back, this is it. That's it. There you go. That's West mid barbecue. Look at that.
Cheeks.
A West barbecue stream. Nice. I botched it hard, didn't I? It's fine. It's fine. Nobody noticed. It's okay. I mean, until I called it out, but still, it's fine. Morning, you friends. Morning, Dino. How are we doing? Looking forward to 2 weekends back to back of PUBG community spectaculars. Pirate lose this weekend. You're going to I kind of misunderstood, because we had the fact that it was EU ladies versus NA ladies, and then you said that Neil was taking part in it, and I was like, he's not a lady, is he? So are you wrestling Neil? Did I get that right, or have I got that wrong? If you do, kick his ass, even though it's NA versus EU. I love you, Neil, but get your ass kicked. Chappers was about to say you need to change, otherwise it'll get brought up every 10 minutes. Chicken dinner equals chicken files and boneless wings. Nice. I'm good. Morning coffee and getting ready for work. Good to actually be able to catch some of the stream. It's good to have you in. Thank you very much for dropping in. Humble Einstein's here as well. Hey. So if you are new here, if you haven't been here before, this is The Scoop. This is our podcast. We talk video games news. If you don't know who we are Ice Cream Uploads, and the reason we're called Ice Cream is because of that. We actually work for a marketing agency called Jelly. So we do work in the video games industry. We do social media, esports, marketing events, which is why we've decided to do a PUBG event in a couple of weeks' time. Well, less than a couple of weeks' time. Anyway, because we work in the video games industry, and we're always talking about the industry at work, we also bring some of our industry knowledge onto the stream, which is what this whole podcast is. So we do play games. I play PUBG on a Wednesday and a Saturday. Bibby plays, do you know what? Whatever he goddamn feels like on a Sunday. So we do play video games, but we also talk video games too. And today we're going to be talking about the fact that CD Projekt, the company behind Cyberpunk, their stock has fallen over 75% since Cyberpunk was released. That's what we're going to start off with. Then we're going to jump onto a story that we were excited to talk about, but we ran out of time to talk about last week, and that is a new Aliens single-player horror action game that is in the works. Then, Unity CEO apologises for criticising mobile developers who don't prioritise monetisation. What a bad read of the room. Mediatonic has had to apologise for taking your money too, and Bungie is now officially part of the PlayStation family. That's all the stories that we'll be going through today. For now, though, CD Projekt's stock has fallen over 75% since Cyberpunk was released. Surprising? Not surprising? What are your thoughts, Bib?
Still surprising.
Nice. Yeah. That's the thing. Big old failure, but that's a big old chunk. We'll get some details from Jordan Midler at VGC, who has the first news article saying Dying Light developer Techland is now claimed to have overtaken CD as Poland's biggest developer. That is a big drop. So Cyberpunk 2077 developer CD Projekt stock has now fallen by over 75% following the troubled launch of the game. As reported by Business Insider Poland, CD Projekt which was valued at over 40 billion Polish zloty, and Europe's most valuable game company prior to the release of Cyberpunk in 2020, is now worth less than 10 billion. The company is now trading at a similar valuation to its 2017 numbers, and CD Projekt is no longer the most valuable games company in Poland, being surpassed by Techland, developers of the Dying Light franchise. It's worth noting that Techland's numbers aren't public, as they aren't publicly traded like CD Projekt. However, Pulse Biznesu estimates that it could be around 10.6 billion zloty. Quote, with the redemption of 15 million shares for a consideration of PLN 900 million, is that zloty? One share is valued at, I'll just go with the numbers, at 60. Assuming the number of shares of the company at 175.94 million, the implied valuation of Techland is 10.56 billion. It is zloty, there you go. Estimates Pulse Biznesu. Cyberpunk was anticipated to be one of the most significant releases of the last console generation, releasing just as the PS5 and Xbox Series X launched, but things went badly wrong for it at launch. After 3 days, the highly anticipated RPG released for PC and consoles with a host of technical problems resulting in refunds being offered and the game being pulled from the PlayStation Store. We can stop there. We've gone through all of this for a good chunk of time. We started to call what do we call it? The Cyber Scoop? Because we spoke about Cyberpunk so often on the Scoop for like a 2 to 3 month period. You may have seen as well that I do have a copy of Cyberpunk that's still in its cellophane wrapper. It may have been a little bit of a meme for a little bit of time. But that is a big old difference. So if you go back 2 years, whatever it was, Ubisoft was the largest video game publisher / developer in Europe by a considerable chunk, and off of the success of The Witcher 3, which just kept going from strength to strength, and then boosted by the Witcher TV series, CD Projekt overtook Ubisoft to become the most, what was the phrase they used? I want to say most profitable, but did they just say biggest? Most valuable, that's it. It became the most valuable games company in Europe, overtaking Ubisoft. It's now not even the most valuable in Poland. That is a huge drop. What are your thoughts, babe?
Yeah, it's a shame. I don't want to say they've got no one to blame but themselves, but I do feel that statement kind of needs to be in the conversation, because it was their choice to release this game on platforms that wasn't capable of being able to play this game at its fullest. And on release date, a game that people have been waiting for over 8 years, the game comes out to very, very lackluster opinions, expectations. It is damaging. Like, there was all sorts of speculation beforehand that people who were given codes for this game weren't allowed to publish any of their own footage. They had to provide B-roll from footage that was provided to them, because they knew full well if they was to show any kind of footage from this being played on a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox Series, Xbox One at the time, regardless of what, like, it played better on the Pro version of the PlayStation, obviously played better on the, what was it, Xbox One X?
Yeah.
I'm sure it was Xbox One X, the Pro. I would be able to say this, Graham, but one of the best ways for you to be able to play Cyberpunk at the time was through Stadia, because it just required your internet to be able to carry the connection. All the gumph, all of the speeds were coming from the Stadia hardware themselves.
That noise is the sound of that one guy that fights Stadia in our Twitter mentions. That keeps coming back every time we mention it. He's just clipped that. Stadia is better. Nice.
Yeah. Absolutely, to clickbait the shit out of it, but that was the best way. And obviously, if you had a high profile PC at the time, you'd be able to play this and get the Night City experience that you wanted. But for everything else, it was toilet until the PlayStation 5 came along, and it didn't have the PlayStation 5 version, but because of the hardware that was inside your PlayStation 5 or your Xbox Series X, you was able to play that game in a better condition than what it should have been like on your PlayStation 4. So when I say that they should have expected it, that's where I'm going with this. It's a shame that they ended up losing as much as they have done, and the respects that they had built over a long period of time. it kind of has me worried for what we're going to be getting from the next Witcher game. I do believe that they will genuinely take as much time and consideration with that because they can't afford that to fail. If that fails, that might end up sending CD Projekt Red under. And that is a scary thought.
Yeah, massively. I mean, Dano says, how does a company come back from a 75% stock drop? That is madness. I mean, it is a little bit misleading in the fact that it was almost a 75% stock growth before that. So you could argue it's a little bit of the industry normalizing, which takes the impact away. But surely shareholders are not loving the fact that you can increase your value and then not maintain it at that extent. I mean, that surely that is proven to be the case because CD Projekt have had to pay out. They were taken to court and settled for the sum of millions because they told their shareholders, don't worry, invest and we will give you a massive payout when we release our game. And in the terms and conditions of that, you'd think, and I say you'd think, they settled, so they had to agree that when they release this game, it would, for starters, work. And it didn't. So naturally they've had to pay out a big chunk of cash there. But it is still very, very shaky because like The Witcher, CD Projekt, and The Witcher on Netflix, they are pretty much the three brands that Cyberpunk has. After that, I mean, and that's still really two brands. Beyond that, you'd have to be a CD Projekt fan to know anything else that they are currently working on. So you take one of those brands, something that has been the most hyped game probably in history, and mess it up to that extent. I mean, it's difficult to hit the landing and stick the landing on any major release. Whereas Nacho said something. To be honest, any game what is overhyped in the last 5 years has been a flop. And that's the thing. Overhyping is a problem because you are setting yourself up for a fall. Expectations versus reality. If reality is there and your expectation is a little bit above it, you're already below par. But this was... expectation was there and reality was there. So it was like they were both off. They hyped, I mean, getting Keanu Reeves at E3 when I was there and I didn't even see it because I was in a fucking meeting, but still, like having Keanu Reeves kicking that hype train off, having 27,000 episodes of the Night City Wire news conference broadcast, being at multiple Gamescoms, delaying the game, but still having the content train coming. They did a lot of good stuff in there. So the content teams, the marketing teams were clearly on point in terms of building up the hype, but they did that very well. Overhyped is the perfect word for it. They did too much, and then the developers or the people that were making the decisions for the developers did too little. And that's the key thing there as well, is this was a financial-based decision. So to say it was on the developers was not very bad, not very good, should I say, because the developers... We've heard all sorts of reports from internal QA, from external QA, from developers that have worked on the game. Obviously, there's only so much they can say, but they were all aware what was coming. And the earliest reports, going back to 2020, as the game was coming out, is that the management knew how bad it was, but just assumed people weren't really going to play it on consoles because it had been a big game and their focus was PC in Poland. So it's been big in Poland before. That's our... focus is on PC, which is where it was a big game, so PC is fine. PlayStation will sort that out afterwards, not realizing that, mate, it does not work at all. Pretty much. There was a lot of... I mean, you could have probably fumbled your way through. Most people, about 80% of people, probably could have fumbled your way through. But you would have had simple things like bugging when you're getting into vehicles or not being able to get into vehicles. You might hit a game-breaking bug that would cause you a restart, but then you can continue. But even still, immersion gone, everything massively impacted. So, understandably, it wasn't a great success. But having that dropping 75% of the shares is still obscene because now Cyberpunk will always be tainted. I wouldn't be surprised if we never get another Cyberpunk game because you have to do the way we always reference it, you have to do a No Man's Sky to bring Cyberpunk back. You have to completely turn that around. And CD Projekt are a good brand for that. Let's not forget that. The Witcher has had problems in the past, not to this extent, but they have fixed it and they have put time in building it, taking it to the next level, advancing it, providing quality of life upgrades to games that are 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. And then bringing content for the community in terms of TV series and things like that. CD Projekt clearly are good at feeding into their community. Cyberpunk, though, I feel is going to be a step too far. So they have lost 75% of their shares. I feel like there's not much they can do there. They've just got to take that on the chin and then almost break Cyberpunk off. Do what you need to do. Fix the game. Get it to work on next-gen versions. Release your post-launch content and then let it just drift off into the sunset. Put all of your focus on the next Witcher game and the TV series, and then go from there. And at that point, that's when you look at your next brand. I don't think, it's probably not going to be Cyberpunk 2078, but if that was the next game, I feel like any plans for that internally, they've gone, nah, I don't think so.
Do you reckon that they'll actually bring any substantial DLC out for this? Or do you reckon all that's just been shelved?
I can see it happening because I feel like they are obligated to do that because they had a roadmap, which obviously has been canned because it's all changed. But their roadmap, I don't feel they can turn their back on it. I feel they can turn their back on the timeline, not so much the content. And we'll release the game and then we'll release post-launch bits and so on. Yeah. I feel like the post-launch bits, because they've voiced that into existence in the world, I feel like they have to bring that to fruition because their community will be like, okay, we've invested in this game on the promise that we'll have Keanu Reeves and we'll have a fully working game, and and then we'll have post-launch content. We got Keanu Reeves and that was it at launch. We're now at the point where we've got a fully working game. I still expect my post-launch content, so I feel like they will bring that because they have to. But then after that, they would, you'd feel, be well into conversations about how do we build a story arc for the next game, and then maybe 3 and 4 after. But I feel like any of those conversations would have probably been stalled and only on the reception of a fully working game on PS5. Next gen specific versions, fully repackaged releases after all of the DLCs and stuff out. Only at that point will they be going, so do we do a 2 then? No. No.
Well, can you see them making up any? I know it feels like it's a Q&A with Graham Day here.
Hey, how you doing?
But do you reckon that they'll ever make up the ground with the 75% loss? I feel like that will obviously... The needle will move when the new season of The Witcher comes out, and eventually when the new game comes out, the needle will start to move back up again and they'll close the gap. But in terms of what we're going to get away from The Witcher, do you reckon that they can move that back and they can reduce it to maybe 50%?
I think so. I think they can. I mean, they are obviously taking the headlines. They are not the biggest developer in Poland anymore. Techland are. But Techland are also on the little bit of a crest of a wave because Dying Light, we've just had Dying Light 2, they've got more content and stuff coming. Techland there was that news article about 2 months ago where they have a new IP that they're working on, but they haven't said what it is. So Techland clearly has a lot of, ooh. Also, I imagine the fact that CD Projekt is the shining star of Polish video game development. Them fecking up probably made people with an interest in Polish video game development think, okay, let's actually sing the people that deserve it and respect it, because Cyberpunk and CD Projekt did until that point, and then their decisions made them shockingly fall, but it was a shockingly made decision. Anyway, so Techland have overtaken them, but they are now Cyberpunk are worth less than 10 billion. Techland are only 10.6 billion. So I'm saying that they only need to go up $1 billion, or zloty as it was. But if they've lost 75% of their revenue, they only need a small percentage of that regain to go up. And I do believe video games are mainstream today. They absolutely are. But to go mainstream, like The Witcher did. Well, I mean, you go back a few years and everyone on Twitch and in real life was singing "Toss a coin to your Witcher," because it infected the hearts of minds. Certain things do that at certain times, and The Witcher's new series, I feel that alone will give it enough of a spike. I think that is the reason the TV series of The Witcher and the success of that. I think that is the reason why we are seeing The Last of Us Part 1 being done, purely because the amount of money investing into creating The Last of Us again, but on the PS5, using The Last of Us 2 mechanics, building it from the ground up, will cost a chunk of cash. But they will make that tenfold if they release that at the same time as the TV series, because it's mainstream. So that will be their toss a coin to your Witcher moment. They will just go, okay, we'll put The Last of Us out on HBO, and money. So yeah, I do believe they will bring some of this back. Do I think they'll get 75%? Probably not. Will they? Maybe even before the end of the year, overtake Techland? Possibly not, because Techland have some exciting times. But within the next couple of years, I can see CD Projekt. If it's next year when The Witcher comes out, usually comes out January-ish sort of time. If that is this January, I can see them jumping back up again. I think they'll definitely be in first place in Poland. Will they get 50% of that revenue back? To be seen.
Yeah, well, it shows though. Like, I could do a poll in the chat of how many people played The Witcher 1 and 2, and I can imagine it'll be very, very, very low. I can't imagine many people would have played those two games. It's only when The Witcher 3 comes out and people go, actually, this looks really, really good. It's a completely different direction with the game. It wasn't the Witcher 1 and 2 were decent games, but the way that the battle and the turn-based action, it wasn't necessarily turn-based, but the battling system was completely different from what it was in 3. Same way as Fallout. I can imagine a lot of people's first game was probably Fallout 3 when Bethesda ended up taking it over. So Cyberpunk have got the opportunity to maybe bring out a second game in hopes that people forget about what happened in the first one. But that is it'll be difficult for them. It'll be extremely difficult.
Yeah, I mean, if they release something perfect and give you the first one that is now perfect alongside it, and then invest a lot in marketing and influencers content, changing opinions around it, get the key opinion leaders at the time, be that games press, be that games media, be that influencers, whatever, they'd need to invest heavily to change that round. Whether they can do, I mean, it will require a massive investment, but it could turn it into a massively profitable franchise. It's just a matter of video games companies often like sequels because they are really good bankers. To launch a new IP might not capture the hearts and minds. To launch a new sequel, you already know it's going to capture the hearts and minds of the people that like the first one. You could reduce your market share because sequels often mean that people feel like, I need to have played the first one, and then the second one, and then the third one. But a number 2 is usually a safe bet. This one, though, it's anything but. It would require shitloads of investment to just start the conversation. At that point, it could explode, but I don't know. I'm not convinced that they would do that.
Wait for Cyberpunk 2 to come out, and then eventually they'll remaster the first one. Their jobs are good, and they'll sort it out then.
We'll get remaster, and then we'll get remake when we'll get Cyberpunk Part 1, just like they've done with The Last of Us. Jobs good, so let's go! I'm surprised that given the built-in audience from the RPG game and the amount of hype they put into the marketing, that they outsource the QA. I mean, that's a standard thing in video game development of games at that size. There was multiple external agencies. So they do have their own QA internally. So we actually covered that when they outsourced the QA stuff. And then the QA's response to that actually touched on that and says a lot of people don't realize that when you outsource QA, you don't necessarily go, we don't do any of this. You just pass parts of it off, which then is supposed to then be gone over again by internal QA stuff. So that stuff happens at that size and scale because the amount of QA needed for a game the size of CD Projekt's releases is huge, and it wouldn't be financially sustainable to have QA of that size and scale on full time. So you will find a lot of people that do QA do it to get into different jobs in the industry, but some people do QA as their full-time job, but they will take, okay, I know that I'm on a short-term contract for the next 12 to 24 months at CD Projekt working on Cyberpunk. I'm then going to work on Battlefield 2043 at EA for the next 2 years after that, or whatever. They line their jobs up side by side or whatever.
Imagine going from both. You'd never get in a QA job again, would you? You would never work in the video games industry again.
So yeah, if you had to work on Battlefield and Cyberpunk back to back, then you need some sort of counselling, no doubt.
Blame that person.
Will you be adding a Europa Conference League ball to your collection? I won't. No.
I saw that Jose Mourinho got he got a tattoo, didn't he?
Was that real? Because I saw that
trophies.
and I was thinking, wow.
I think so. It looked real.
He spent too much time hanging around in England. You can just see him sat at the poolside now with like a cold glass of lager and his belly out, kind of stuff. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eat my noob food. Thank you very much for the raid, noob. How are we doing? How was the kitchen this morning?
Good afternoon.
Was it toasty? Was it toasty and warm? If anyone doesn't know Noob, do feel free to go and click on his name. Let me do it. Actually, I was going to do it. I won't roll chat. If anyone else that's admin is in the chat can just do a shout out for Noob, that would be very, very much appreciated. Thank you very much for the raid. I am going to keep catching up with the comments, though. There was a few more. Hype will make and break a game. No hype and a good game will go unnoticed and flop. Too much hype and you'll piss off the consumers. Exactly. That's the thing. Overhype is great for sell-through, but if you overhype, you will often get revenue and then not get revenue on your next one because people feel that they've been burned, so don't do it again. Off topic, but I am listing Cologne bars and pubs. Looks a really good city for enjoyment of beers and bars. It's good.
Mm-hmm. It is good.
Apple Music. We're not on the Apple Music, no, but we are on Spotify. Dino, correct. None of the Apple Musics, though. We are on iTunes. Yeah. Tidal? No, we're not on Tidal. I wonder if Keanu has cut bait on the franchise or he'll give it another go because he would have taken a hit to his image. For those that are just dropping in from Noob's Raid, on Ninjas Hamad, thank you very much for the follow, dude. For those that are just dropping in, we're talking about CD Projekt. The company behind Cyberpunk has lost 75% of its share value since they released Cyberpunk 2077. Do I wonder if Keanu Reeves will cut bait? He kind of has, because he kept quiet while Cyberpunk were like, yeah, Keanu Reeves has played the game. He loves it. He didn't say anything. It was almost like cooperation by silence. And then when the game was shit and he was being interviewed for The Matrix, which was also shit, it was all right. When he was being interviewed for the new Matrix film, they were like, so, Cyberpunk, what did you think of it? He's like, I don't know, I never played it. And it's like, oh.
Yeah. It's like, he's been paid, he'd done all his PR stuff for the game. He wasn't fucking arsed at this moment. He'd cashed out. Like, he wasn't, everything else was irrelevant to him at that point.
It's like, you used my face, you told me this was going to be the best game in the world, and it's the first game in history that had been pulled from the PlayStation Store and refund given. Great. Yes, never played it. Game series converted to TV or movie rarely do well, so The Last of Us TV show is a gamble, I feel. See, I agree with that, Nacho, although I do believe that has changed a little bit. So, game show to movies, Sonic the Hedgehog, the first one, exceptional. The second one I haven't seen. Bibby didn't like it as much. No. Flip side, I've just started the new Netflix Resident Evil. I will say that your comment from the 2 episodes I've seen so far stands. It's not great, but The Witcher was really good. So we are getting to the world where crossovers are now better. That said, The Last of Us to TV series is Naughty Dog, and Naughty Dog have just transferred Uncharted into movie form, and that wasn't bad, but it wasn't as good as Nacho. It's not as good as Nacho, actually. No, it's not. It's not as good as Uncharted was as a video game. So that does still have some value. Hollywood often thinks, yeah, we know how to make films. We'll take your video game and leave it with us. It's like, yeah, but this is the cool stuff that you need to remember that made it into a video game. People like that. No. We know. And then it comes out and it's fucking shocking. So that does have the I have been loving the Resident Evil Netflix version, but I've seen that 90% of Resident Evil... Oh, well, there you go. I didn't even see that as you comment next. Yeah, I'm not a big Resident Evil fan. Bibby is. I just didn't really like it. The first 2 episodes, not that I didn't like it. It's not bad, but it's not great either. It's all right. Yeah, I will watch the rest of it so far. But it's more the quality of acting and stuff. So, yeah.
It's way down the pecking order for me to get involved with that. Like, there's so many other things. What I will say, recommendation, well off topic, but if anyone is into spoof mockumentary series, then watch Players. It's on Paramount at the moment. Obviously, I'm watching it through Paramount at the moment. That's a little wink for anyone who's listening to the audio stuff. It's fantastic. If you are a fan of esports, then you will piss yourself. It is about League of Legends. You don't have to know anything about League of Legends to be able to get involved and actually enjoy it. But absolutely watch it. It's fantastic TV if you haven't already.
Bibby's on commission because that's the second time today I've heard that.
Absolutely, but I'm telling the masses, Graham. I ain't even tweeted about it yet, which I may do later on today. But there's still 3 episodes of the season left. It comes out every Thursday.
That's why you've got to tune into the scoop, because you get Bibby's tweets pre-tweeting. Look at that.
Exactly.
Oh.
Pre-show, pre-tweets.
Hey, Quandale Dingle here. Hey, bits in it. Bits in it. What? Kenobi out of nowhere throwing 200 bitties down. All right, settle down.
Hey.
Woo. Thank you very much for the 200 bitties. Appreciate that. How are you doing? Good after morning. Hey, Wicky's in as well. How are we doing, Wiki? I've just been sharing your cheeks in the chat earlier on. Not your cheeks specifically. That was in the DMs separately, by the way. But yeah, we're talking about cheeks, so I was just dropped in some Wiki cheeks in the chat. Do feel free to check Wiki out as well. I would say we'll do a shout out, but I still haven't sorted the API error bullshit out. So apologies. Wiki's in the chat. You can see his name. Click on that, and he put some badass PUBG players. Let's go. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Did I catch everything? I think we've caught up with everything. So CD Projekt, the company behind Cyberpunk 2077, had a wonderful, wonderful time until they actually had to release the game, and then everyone realized how badly they had managed it. And as unsurprising as it may seem, the company has lost profits. What is surprising, though, is the amount. 75% of their share value has gone. I do expect it to come back. I do expect it to start climbing once we get more of a focus on The Witcher and bringing Cyberpunk 2 closer to where it should be. I think that will go back up. I don't see any issues there. I do see issues when it comes to the long term of Cyberpunk, but we'll see. For now, though, let's jump into something completely different. Stephany Nunneley at VG247 has the next article, which says Aliens single-player horror action game is in the works for consoles, PC, and VR, should I say. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Okay, brought to you by 20th Century Games and Servios. So a new Aliens game is in the works for console, PC, and VR. Being built using UE5, the game... Oh, no, actually, I'm going to stop. That VR... Was it VR? I don't know. Something in there just reminded me of the comment. There was another comment that I wanted to read. It was a chapter's one. Speaking of Keanu Reeves, he's making an F1. There's an F1 trailer in this. That's what's reminded me. He's making an F1 dramatization mentary about the 2009 season for Disney Plus, which I'm absolutely all for. There you go, chappers. My comment on that, by the way, is because that's all I've pretty much got to add to an F1 conversation, so thank you very much. Nice. Back into the next. Look at Bibby with his face. That's just stuck to the microphone. Nope. Okay, a new Aliens game is in the works for console, PC, and VR. Being built using UE5, the game will feature an original storyline set between the Alien and Aliens films, and features a battle-hardened veteran with a vendetta against the xenomorphs. In development with multi-platform studio and publisher Servios, little is known about the single-player action horror game. That will change when San Diego Comic-Con 2022 rolls around on July the 21st. Full details will be provided during the Alien expanding a dark... okay, there we go. I was like, where does this title end? But I get it now. So full details will be provided during the Alien expanding a dark and frightening universe panel. It will kick off at 2 p.m. PST. The panel will explore the Alien franchise through new fiction, comics, games, and other mediums. Speakers include Steve Saffel, Alien fiction editor at Titan Books, Violet Castro, author Aliens Vasquez, Clara Carija, author Aliens Inferno's Fall, Andrew Gasker, and TQ Jefferson. Another game set in the universe is also in the works, titled Aliens Dark Descent. The 2023 title is a squad-based single-player action game coming to you courtesy of Tinderloss Interactive and Focus Entertainment. We'll stop there. No, we won't. We might as well do it. So the Aliens Dark Descent, you will lead your soldiers in real time to stop a new kind of xenomorph outbreak on Moon Lether. While commanding your squad of colonial marines, you will engage in real-time combat against xenomorphs, facehuggers, Praetorians, alien queens, rogue operatives from the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, and creatures new to the franchise. All the alien stuff. A little bit disappointed that we didn't get into the proper proper meat of what this story is, other than little is known about this game, but we will find out on July the 21st. So just 3 days until we find out, which is my dad's birthday. So GG's dad, nice. San Diego Comic-Con, 3 days from now, we will get more information about a new Aliens game that features a battle-hardened veteran with a vendetta against the Xenomorphs, set in the middle of the key parts of the Aliens film history. Between the first and second films. What are your thoughts, babe?
So this looks like it's going to be a little bit different from the other Alien Isolation game, which is probably going to be remembered as a Stone Cold classic at this point. Like, that game was fantastic. The atmosphere, the graphics for the time, voice acting, like everything was perfect for that game. Then obviously we had Alien Fireteam Elite. Not straight after that. I think that came out last year, which wasn't great. But I feel like this is going to kind of merge them both together, which I'm interested to see more of. Like, I want the atmosphere of what made Alien Isolation great. The potential survival horror elements are there, which I don't know whether or not it was billed as a survival horror. I can't remember. But I want that kind of vibe again. Like, that game was perfect for that environment. So I want more of that. But this seems like it's going to be a bit more shootery. It's going to have a bit more action to it. Obviously, Alien Isolation was pretty much hide and seek. But this feels like it's going to be a bit more balls to the wall. You're going to have a lot more to deal with, which I'm not angry with. You can't keep on replicating the same thing over and over again and then expecting it to make you a lot of money and people be still starstruck about what it is that they're going to be playing. But yeah, I'm excited to hear more from this, and we don't have that long to wait, really.
Yeah, no, I agree. In the chat, I think I prefer a sequel to Isolation. Was also VR capable. Yeah, it's kind of what Bibby was kind of going at there in terms of Isolation was exceptional. So why haven't we had more of that? To which then Chappers has just added, Alien has one good game, one bad game cycles. One for you, one for me, one for you, one for me. Best Alien game ever? Alien Breed series. I don't know that one. I don't know that one.
There was one on the Saturn that was really, really good. And I think the one on PlayStation was really good as well, but I don't know the actual names of those.
Stephen. Champa says we've just had a bad one with Fireteam Elite, so we should get a good one this time. It's just annoying that we have to go through these like filler bits. It's like all that time you spent resource hungry. You get it with these 80s films. We've spoken about them recently when we've talked about the fact there's a new Terminator game coming. There's a new RoboCop game coming. Terminator, RoboCop, Predator, Aliens. These games and these names command eyes and attention, but you flip the coin as to what you're getting. Are you getting Terminator 2, ding, or are you getting Terminator Genesis or whatever? It's like, oh, fuck this shit, I'm out. I don't even know what Genesis is. I've seen it, but I can't remember. We watched all of the Terminator films recently leading up to Dark Fate or whatever the newest one was. I can't remember. We watched them all. Mediocre.
I think Genesis, I actually liked that. Is that the one where at the beginning it looks like you're watching Terminator 1? And then Arnie comes back, and then he's like modern day Arnie, like a fucking 70-year-old bloke.
I can't remember.
But that one I actually really enjoyed. I thought that was fucking mint.
There's some good bits throughout it. So I would be harsh to say the shit, but they're not like, it's not like watching Terminator 2. Like they were never like that. That's Dark Fate, says David. There you go. That was Dark Fate. Class. David just started in the chat. Fuck's sake, David.
Yeah. It was Alien Trilogy, the one that was on Sega Saturn, and then got ported over to the PlayStation. That was a great game. I thoroughly enjoyed that one.
Alien Breed is an old school top-down shooter. I'm sure my age. All right, Grandad. So, you're all right, love. It's a bit warm out there. Get yourself a drink. Cheers, Tino. I thought it was just Star Trek films that went good, bad, good, bad. No, there's quite a lot of stuff out there that just throws out stuff. Often, though, with these 80s names that can just obtain sales. Weirdly, those are stuck in the 80s. The 80s for video games was a great time, but it was also a time where, okay, we can throw out a game in 3 to 6 months if we just stick the name Aliens on it, or we just stick the name RoboCop on it, or we just stick the fucking like how many film and TV to video game adaptations was there? I mean, Konami were really good at it. Some of them were exceptional. Like coming out imminently is the Turtles TMNT Cowabunga collection, which has a series of fucking amazing games in it. Spoilers, by the way, we do work with Konami, so obviously take that with a pinch. I'm saying I'm looking forward to that. Not that I work with them. But like Konami also was one of those brands that made tons of games that I've never even played or even know. Like someone will be like, oh, what about the... Not that there is a never-ending story game. There might be, but what about Konami's never-ending story crossover? And I was like, what? And it was like everything will have just been made. Like McDonald's used to have games on the fucking Mega Drive and things like that. Everything was just ported over into
Burger King.
Yeah, Aliens, Predator, Terminator, RoboCop were those sort of games. So we've had so many of them that are below par. Aliens Isolation, I think, is the first one that's tried to capture that you're gonna shit your pants sort of vibe that Alien wanted to bring. So more of that is where I want it to go. Not cheap watering down of the brand, but scaring the shit out of you. And I feel like there's so many things that we just don't get that properly done anymore. Like look at this asset that they have leading this. You've got xenomorphs in space, intense lighting, but also dark and dusty, smoky. If that's not a shit yourself environment, I don't know what is. So how can we not just have some absolute home runs with that? And I feel like if we don't get that through the next Alien game, we're definitely going to be getting something like that from Callisto Protocol or the new Dead Space or something. Like it has to be. And then Capcom will have that Dino Crisis, please. Yeah, nice.
Please.
Smartest Mama, welcome in. Hey, friends, busy working at the moment, so here to alert from Perth, Australia. Welcome in. Hey,
G'day.
Is it late? Is it late there? Yes. Yes, you talking to me?
I knew that's where you were going with this. As soon as I said it, I was like, here we go.
I'm G'day. Hey, how you doing? Hey, have I ever mentioned? I've got to mention this every time we get an Aussie.
I know. Strap yourselves in.
Have I ever mentioned that I'm an honorary Australian, by the way? Because my name is Day, Graham Day. Good day, mate. Yeah, I got a free sub gifted in the channel once when I said it, so I'm going to keep saying it every time, just it up. But welcome in, Smartest Mama. How you doing? The never-ending story. There you go. Oof. Go off stream from a hot tub filled with cold water. Oh no, we've got that stream coming later on. That's just Bibby.
Yep. That'll be me later on.
33 in Sheffield at the moment. Disgrace. Chapper's just absolutely just gonna just burst into flames at the moment. Get yourself a chalk ice. Nice. Come to the southwest. It's lovely down here. I don't even know what it is in Manchester, but it's
32 in Hyde at this moment in time. I've just checked. Sweltering.
Okay, go on. Seeing as we're catching you up. 31 here. Ooh, not quite there yet. Okay, moving ahead. We're going to have to pick up the pace because we are over time now.
Standard.
Absolutely. An Alien single-player game is coming for PC, consoles, VR, and all the rest of the stuff. For now, we're going to fly through 2 articles because it's about people taking your cash away from you, and ain't nobody got time for that, not in today's world. But this one from Vikki Blake at Eurogamer says, Unity CEO apologises for criticising mobile developers who don't prioritise monetisation. Quote, anyway, that's it. Lots of words and a sentence that I wish I had never said. End quote, is the tagline. So Unity boss John Riccitiello has apologized for calling developers that don't prize monetization in the creative process, quote, fucking idiots, end quote. So yikes. So earlier this week, Riccitiello was slammed for stating that mobile developers who don't seek a squeeze monetization from their smartphone games represented only a, quote, a very small portion of the gaming industry, end quote, calling them, another quote, the most beautiful and pure, brilliant people that were also some of the biggest fucking idiots. 2 quotes in there, end quotes. After insisting the interview was clickbait and out of context, Riccitiello has now apologized for his, quote, crude word choice, end quote, and said if he had been... Oh, fuck it. Do you know what? There's quotes in this. I'm not going to keep quoting because it's a very quote-heavy article. Said if he'd been smart in choosing his words, he would have never said that he is working to provide developers with tools so they can better understand what their players think, and it's up to them to act or not based on feedback. I'm going to start with an apology. My word choice was crude. I am sorry. I am listening, and I will do better, he said in a lengthy statement posted on Twitter. What I can do, perhaps, is provide more on what I was thinking when I did the interview, what I would have said if I had taken great care. First, I have great respect for game developers, he began. The work they do is amazing. The creativity can be incredible, whether on a AAA console, mobile, or indie game designed to be played by millions, or a creative project, a game made just for the sheer joy of it. Second, one thing I have seen is that most game devs work incredibly hard and want people to play their game, to enjoy it, and, when appropriate for players, to engage deeply. For the game devs I have worked most closely with, there is often anxiety about whether players will love the game and appreciate all the work and love that went into making it. Third, sometimes all a game developer wants is to have a handful of friends enjoy the game. Art for art's sake and art for friends. Others want players dollars to buy the game or game items so they can make a living. Both of these motivations are noble, he explained. Fourth, what I was trying to say and clearly failed at saying is that there are better ways for game developers to get an early read on what players think of their game, to learn more from their feedback, and if the developer wants to adjust the game based on this feedback. It's a choice to listen and act or just to listen. Again, both are very valid choices. If I had been smarter in choosing my words, I would have just said this. We are working to provide developers with tools so they can better understand what their players think, and it's up to them to act or not based on this feedback, he concluded. Anyway, that's it. Lots of words and a sentence that I wish I'd never said. Okay. Does that cut the mustard? I mean, I have been guilty of saying something in an interview that wasn't quite right and was taking clickbait. It definitely does happen. 100% happens out there. So when someone says that, I kind of get the sentiment. I do kind of feel it's just such a weird way to go. I was just trying to say that we've got tools if you want to make money. But what you actually said was you're a fucking idiot if you don't squeeze people for money. Not
spoken
that
like a true businessman.
Quote, yeah. So I mean, it makes sense. It does make sense if you're looking at something from a purely business perspective. I mean, I don't know where this podcast was. This interview was it on a business-based podcast? If that's the case, then it makes sense. It's not nice to hear it put that way, but it does make sense. So, yeah, babe, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think he's just spoken like a true businessman. Whether or not he meant it as sincerely as possible, because we say stuff in throwaway comments all the time, but we're not under constant scrutiny, and I probably wouldn't be attacking people for not taking money from people's wallets and purses. Like, what he said is, I don't even want to say out of context, because genuinely he said it in context. Like, there was no connotations or anything around it. It was just like, if you aren't making games with microtransactions first, then you are an idiot. Like, look at that. It's the easiest way to make money is to make games by doing that. There's no other way really that you can spin it, regardless of whether or not he's given 4 different points as to what his context meant. The first two paragraphs of his statement were copy and paste.
Yeah.
Apologies that you could find from anyone who's been thrown underneath a microscope.
Big inhale. Big exhale.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I hear you. I'm listening.
Yeah,
I will try to be
absolutely.
better.
I'm going to copy and paste this and save it for whenever I attempt to get cancelled, which can't be too long now. I've been on the internet far too long to not be cancelled just yet, so I'll leave that for the time being. But yeah, genuinely he meant it. Whether or not he wants to apologise and you take him for his word for it, I don't know. To a degree, I genuinely think he's a little bit right. In terms of, people are creating video games to make as much money as possible. We've had this discussion over the last couple of weeks. It would be amazing if video game companies came out and said, okay, we've made enough money now over the last 18 months and we have secured our business for the next 5 years. Our employees are all comfortable. They are going to be able to provide for their families. We are absolutely sound. We are removing microtransactions from games. Congratulations. What we set out to do, we've achieved. We're all secure. Have at it. You're gonna get the best game. You are going to be able to play this game now. You won't have to put any more money in. That would be amazing if that was the case, but that isn't the case. They've got to look after their stocks. They've got to make as much money as possible. Whether or not their ambition is to make sure that every one of their staff is looked after. I can't see that being the case with the amount of turnover that happens at video game companies. They will just be looking after their own pockets, which they're a business.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, games are now secondary. They are not the primary reason.
It's a shithouse statement, and it's not what you want to hear. But I would happily do the internet stick your finger up at someone, but then back to business as usual, because business is the key word in there. Let's open up this article again. This is Unity boss John Riccitiello. I'm not sure if that's pronounced correctly, but we'll go with that. He's got his suit, shirt, jacket, open collar. It's clearly business. He's probably, I mean, being the boss of Unity is probably worth millions, because Unity is a company
nearly
that's
billions.
Unity is worth billions. Whether he owns it or not and gets share of that, I don't know. So I'll go for millions as a base point, probably more. So he's clearly money oriented, being the boss of the company. And if this conversation is talking about money, then it makes sense. He's speaking as a lad, as openly and as off the cuff as we often do in this. We've called people stupid things in the past, just in the conversation, because of the tone of the show. Because he's not necessarily been absolutely out there going for people. He says a very small portion of the gaming industry, and then he calls them the most beautiful and pure, brilliant people. So he's acknowledging how switched on they are when it comes to making exceptional content. So his breakdown of it does add up. He is saying there are people out there that are just making art for art's sake, or making art to share with their friends. Beautiful and pure and brilliant is what he said. But from a business sense, if that is really good, it's art that could be worth millions. You are leaving millions on the table. That is a phrase, you've left millions on the table, is basically saying you are a fucking idiot anyway. The only thing he's done is he's put it into those words. So from that sense, it's a shithouse statement, but I get what he's saying. That said, he is also the boss of Unity. So how are you not understanding that you don't call the fucking people running your system fucking idiots? I mean, I don't agree with it. I don't know much about him myself, so you guys might be able to say he's got previous of this. I don't know. Do feel free to let me know in the comments, in the chat if you do, or the comments if you're watching on YouTube. I don't know that. From this instance, I would say, from a business conversation, I would call Bibby a fucking idiot for something, and probably have, and he's probably called it about me, because it's just one of those things. You say stuff that you wouldn't usually say in conversation that you don't really mean. It could be that, but I'm also not the CEO of a massive billion-dollar corporation talking about the people that are keeping the lights on. So time and place, maybe. What do you guys think? They do great work, he says, trying to save his skin, more like.
Yeah.
I agree. Some of these companies put in shit tons of microtransactions in the game, like EA or 2K. They've got way more than they need. They're doing it for greed. It looks like he's just been dug up. Oh, me or Bib? Oh, you mean that guy? Okay. Have you covered the bigger piece? They've purchased and merged with a malware distribution company, which has made their share price hit rock bottom. We haven't. I did see that. Didn't they lose? Was it like 4 billion? Share value or something last week? I did see that, but that's a little bit. So we do cover share price stuff occasionally, like we have done obviously earlier on in this with Cyberpunk, whereas that's probably a little bit, the amount of reading around and fumbling the facts and stuff would probably just like so yeah. So it is a thing where you got to support people, but there's getting your fill, and then there's, can we make 3 people at the top as rich as possible while crunching the workplace below them? Yes, exactly. He's just bought a company that makes literal malware, so I don't think he's that good a boss. Okay, there you go. Yeah, so there you go. It would be more like you calling Konami idiots as it's his customers he's insulted. Not that I'm implying Konami are idiots. Exactly. You don't do that sort of stuff. That's biting the hand that feeds you. Or just calling the hand that feeds you a fucking idiot. You wouldn't do it. Your mum comes in. Bibby, would you like ham and cheese toasty? And Bibby goes, yes, please, you fucking idiot. You're not getting your ham and cheese toasty, so don't do that shit.
I would be being sent to a morgue somewhere. Absolutely.
Exactly. So don't do that. So yeah, shit out statement. I get if his wording in his apology, I get it. What? But yeah, you still shouldn't have. I get what he's saying. He's basically, from a business sense, talking frankly, you've left fucking shitloads of money out. Are you stupid? You could have been a millionaire, Rodders. But you say that when you're chatting to your mate, not when you're the head of a corporation. Anyway, I did say we were going to move on fast, and then we spent 12 minutes talking about that. So quickly through this one. We'll move the last article to tomorrow's show. But for now, we'll jump into this one. Mediatonic apologises for auto-purchase Fall Guys bug and will honour recent refund requests. So everyone's taking your cash, even the good guys at Fall Guys. This is written by Oisin Kuhnke at VG247. It says, a weird bug had players finding purchases for items they did not attempt to. So a weird recent bug in Fall Guys has players auto-purchasing premium items in the game, with Mediatonic apologising and promising refunds. As long as a bug isn't game-breaking, most of the time it's fine, and we can be patient while waiting for a patch. Unfortunately, some Fall Guys players have been experiencing a bug that purchases premium items that uses an in-game currency that costs real-world currency without clicking on the purchase button at all. Players have been reporting various issues to do with the Fall Guys storefront, which isn't just limited to the auto-purchase bug. For some reason, that bug would happen just from previewing a particular item. Other issues included hidden key bindings causing purchases. Oh, you pressed that button? Yoink! You bought this! Fuck! Items being switched out after selecting them, and show books permanently disappearing across all systems after playing on Nintendo Switch. Initially, Mediatonic allegedly responded to one particular user, Chunky Pete, with a not particularly helpful response. Quote, please let me correct something your response, wrote the support worker. You have stated that this is a bugged purchase and a known issue. Neither of these things is the case. This purchase was made by you, not a bug. Whether it was intentional or not, this is still the case. This is not a known issue because it is not an issue. Items cannot be bought automatically by the system. They always require input from the player. Again, whether accidental or not, you made this input and purchased the item. What a shitty passive-aggressive fucking way of responding. Woo! Anyway, all purchases are final when it comes to Fall Guys, so it makes sense in the context of an accidental purchase, but this wasn't the case. Now, the official Fall Guys Twitter has put out a statement apologising for the issue. In return, Mediatonic plans to improve the store design to prevent future issues with accidental purchases. Refund requests for cosmetics from June 21st, 2022 onwards will be honoured in the meantime, and everyone will receive Grandis for free. In a statement to Eurogamer, Mediatonic also said, what is happening in the game is not intended, and we are actively fixing it. The customer service response was also not acceptable, and we will offer and make good for all affected. Outside of this, Upsy Fall Guys has been doing pretty well for itself, surpassing 50 million players, which we've seen. Oh, someone is clearly having a bad day in customer services with that response. Actually, I think you'll find you're the problem, not us, because our system doesn't do that. The bug that you're talking about doesn't exist. So take the humble pie and stick it right up. What? There is a bug in the system? Oh, that's fucking yikes. It is. I mean, it's the fact that it went on for so long. That's the reason I read the whole thing out. Please let me correct something from your response, said with fingers in the air and a head shaker. Oh, no, you didn't. Well, you have stated that this is a, air quotes, bugged purchase and a, air quotes, known issue. Neither of these things is the case. Having that is fucking absolute shithouse response. My God. I'm big fans of Mediatonic and what they've done. That person, though, needs to get that stick out of their ass, because that is disgusting way speaking to your customer. Even if the customer had made that stuff, there is no world when that sort of level of customer service, as much as we'd all, when we've worked in retail or customer services, wanted to speak to people like that, you just don't. And that is fucking shocking. But when you get past the customer service shit hours, right, it turns out that the system is bugged, and he's just thinking, oh, you pressed B? That's not even anything linked to purchasing. Well, B triggers A, which is buy now, so you've just bought it now. Let's go! What are your thoughts, Bib?
Yeah, it just, especially in a front-facing account, do you know what I mean? If it wasn't as popular as there was, this would be a kind of game that gets cancelled. Like, you can't be treating the way that that you can't be treating your customers that way in terms of literally, basically, they just called him a fucking idiot on the internet without actually doing any digging.
Yeah.
Like this is definitely someone's auto reply without actually going, Steve, looks like we've got a bug here, pal.
Oh, do you know what? Do you know what's funny? Do you know what's funny? I've just clicked through, just as you've said that, I've just clicked through to Reddit where the original article's posted. The Fall Guys support person is called Steve.
There you go, then. There you go. Bibby's living in an alternative dimension.
Do you work for Fall Guys support? Is that your alter ego?
Yeah, sorry, that's my alt. Yeah, that's my alt. But yeah, like that's someone doing the bare minimum on a front-facing account and just making your company look like a fucking idiot. Like if that person hasn't, I don't want to put this person on the chopping block. I mean, they've basically just signed their own suicide note anyway with that. But yeah, you're basically asking for your career in video games to be pretty much cancelled, or at least in customer service. Probably put them to the back of the store away from everyone. You can't talk to the customers anymore. Like you're an idiot. Get over there and start washing the pots. But yeah, it's ridiculous.
Just looking at the Reddit post as well. I've added the title "Fall Guys need to check." The Fall Guys support need to check their vibe, which is the actual title of the Reddit post. They did go on to add in this bit, which I've just highlighted now, which is an as per our license agreement. Oh my God, an as per bit as well. As per our license agreement, which you agreed to, all purchases are final and will not be refunded. I apologise for any confusion this may cause, and I hope that I've cleared this up for you. Oh, what a dick! Oh,
yeah,
Steve,
that's outrageous.
Steve, you should not be working in customer services if that is how you respond to people. That is disgusting. It's not a bug purchase. It's not a known issue. And then coming back to it again, this is not a, air quotes, known issue because it's not an issue.
Yeah, just remove the air quotes and you might have been able to get away with it. Like you are basically just acknowledging that that there's nothing going wrong. Like this isn't a known issue, but it's something that we will continue to look into. And if anything comes of that, we'll be back to inform you straight away. Boom. That's it. That's all you need to say. Not start air quoting the shit out of what they've been put forward. Like it's just, I don't know. Again, it's a good job that Fall Guys' popularity is at an all-time high. Because I feel like if this was said maybe 3 or 4 months ago, before all the cross-platform stuff and the resurgence back into the mainstream again, I don't think they would have been able to come back from it. In terms of the hardcore gaming community will just be like, nah, fuck this game, man. Like, why are we funding idiots like this? Like, it's just genuinely a good job that they are back into the forefront of people's minds when it comes to playing video games at the moment. Like Fall Guys is having a volume 2 resurgence at this moment in time. So it's a good job that they are, because woo, Big Steve, he's out on his ass.
Someone in the comments on Reddit says, this is Change Timing on Reddit, says, you can trust Steve from Fall Guys support. He went and did the code review himself. There surely is no bug in purchasing software, and every single person complaining that it purchased for them is lying or delusional. The game has never had any bugs. Someone else has responded saying, there is no bug. Auto buying is a new feature. That is shocking. That is shocking. I would be interested to know, like, where this sits. Is this, and I don't want to point the finger at Epic Games because I've got a lot of respect for Epic Games as a company. I know it's a massive corporation. Everyone loves to hate an a big corporation. But has Mediatonic customer service has always been like that? Because it could have been. Mediatonic is a small company that does good outward stuff. Small companies don't necessarily always have good customer services, though. Big companies don't necessarily have good customer services. Companies that do have good customer services are the ones that have customer services, funnily enough. So I'm interested to know whether they were a small company and they've still got the same customer services team and they've always been like this. Because someone did say, in response to one of their comments, someone saying this is not great customer service, someone said they have always been like that. Because I would like to know if that is the case or if that's just someone that's particularly hurt from something in the past or something, because that's shocking behaviour. And if they've always been like that, then Steve, you have done a very, very good service for the community, even though you might not have known it, by highlighting how shit the customer services can be, or at least how shit your customer service can be. Either way, they're looking at it, and hopefully it brings something in, because that is disgusting. To have someone respond. Imagine having 10, 20, 30 quid, whatever it is, taken out of your account, and then someone just doing, as Tito says, they basically just wrote, sounds like a you problem. Imagine a developer of a game that's hugely successful and based around community because of the quality of their social outreach, just treating you like that. That is disgusting. Disgusting.
It's
bonkers. If we did that to mum's kids, we'd only just be about waking up around now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like being working in customer service is usually having a thick skin because 95% of the time, the people who are talking to you are fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Like they are the people who will want to get absolutely everything for nothing, or they might just have a really bad attitude problem, and you've just got to deal with it. Like that's the job that you applied for. Like if you are working on a shop floor, your chances are you are dealing with arseholes. I've been there. I've done it. Worked at fucking B&M. Do you know what I mean? At 16, 17 and 18-year-old, worked at B&M, the cesspit that is Ashton, full of arseholes. But that's the job that I signed up for. And if you are signing up to a customer service job, probably you are going to be speaking to arseholes. This guy is obviously, like I said, got a bee in his bonnet.
From Ashton, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, they are all arseholes. Most of them stink as well. But yeah, you are dealing with people like that all the time. And
so what was it saying? You just you can't call someone a big fucking idiot or something. You're arseholes and you stink though. That stuff's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a controversial statement if you are from the Manchester area, especially from like Tameside, like it's a shithole. But you can't put. Manners are free, is essentially what I'm saying. Yeah, you could be the most horrible person in the world to absolutely everybody, but manners are free. Like, was this person dragged up, or were they just having a bad day or something like that? Like, you can't be speaking to people like this, even if they are being a total arsehole. It's nice to be nice. You just try and kill them with kindness. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a difficult concept to have manners and to be nice to someone, regardless of whether or not they're being a dickhead to you. Is all I'm trying to say.
Starting off with, thanks for your reply, is good. And then after that, please let me correct something. Air quotes multiple times, as per our agreement, which you have signed, and then blah, blah, blah. Fuck off, Steve. No, get in the bin, Steve. Get in the bin.
Not about that life.
Not about that life at all. And that is it. The rest of us are going to get in the bin now as we are done for the week. We did have one other story, and that is to talk about the fact that Bungie is now officially part of PlayStation. Do you know what? Bungie is now part of PlayStation. There you go. That's the story covered. If we get bigger news stories, we won't include that tomorrow. But if we don't, then we'll run through that anyway. Because Tuesdays sometimes is the day where all the news pops, and sometimes it isn't. So we'll see. We'll see. Captain Steve. Yes, exactly. Captain Steve from the Star Trek Enterprise Destroyer. That's the one. Yes, that's nice. Nice. Okay, now we are done now. Thank you very much, everyone that stuck around, everyone that's dropped in. Smartass Mum for the follow. Appreciate that. Kenobi for the 200 bitties out of nowhere. Noob with the raid. Ninjas Hamnad for the follow. Chappers for the 25 months, baby. And they made a few follows through the night too. Appreciate those people dropping those in. You're absolutely beautiful people. Tell you who else is beautiful people. Me and Bib. And do you know what? We're going to be the most beautiful people this Saturday at PUBG WrestleFest, because you may have noticed the name in the chat. Mrs. Webber, going down. Myself.
Going down.
And Bib. Tag Team Spectacular. Do you know what? We've got one of these. We've got some silverware. We don't even need to prove ourselves in the ring. But this Saturday, PUBG WrestleFest, myself, the Bib. Unfortunately, some people need to be put down to be lifted up. And Mrs. Webber, Little Sweet Kate, are going to be built up, put on a pedestal. They will always be famous because of us. So that's all I'm saying, Bib. Sorry, what are you saying?
I'm just saying, Graham, you know what I mean? I haven't been working out this hard for nothing. Do you know what I mean? These guns...
Get that man a vet.
Good juice.
His swans are sick.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I haven't slipped into third person Bib yet, so
still time.
It's okay. There is still time.
I've said it before. Mrs. Webby's got an emote. You can see it in the chat. It says, catch these hands. You ever seen Guardians of the Galaxy? You ever seen Drax the Destroyer? I will catch it. My reactions are so quick. So there you go. They catch these. But yeah, appreciate having you in, Mrs. Webby. Come check out the competition. That's fine. Take a look. You're going to see this up close Saturday, July 23rd, PUBG WrestleFest. For now, though, we are going to disappear. Thank you for joining us through the stream today. Everyone but Mrs. Webby. Well, maybe a little bit. But everyone else, we appreciate you coming in. Thank you very much. Just as this is happening... We're trying to finish a stream, and Big Ham drops a big old raid of 30 people on us. God's sake, Ham. Honestly.
Big old raid.
Honestly. Do you know what? It's a good job you didn't come in a few seconds before, because we were just talking about this Saturday, July 23rd, twitch.tv/Pirate Lou. Myself and Bib are going to be absolutely destroying Mrs. Webby and Little Sweet Kate for your viewing pleasure in PUBG WrestleFest. We were just talking about that, but we're not talking about that anymore. So we're going to catch some hands and some feet and catch everything else there is to catch, including a big dub. Nice.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to end. No, we got work to do. I've actually got a call in 17 minutes, so we need to go and get some food before we jump into conference calls and stuff. But we are going to pass on the Big Ham love, though. If you have come over from the Ham stream, we appreciate you for dropping in. I was in there a little bit earlier on, so do catch yourself a nice little beverage as we're going to move this train on to another stream. We're not quite sure where we're going to go yet, so do stick around. We'll pass you on to one of our friends. Oh, where are we going?
We go off of the back of the Open yesterday and the fantastic round for Cameron Smith. The Apex Hound is currently streaming some PGA action, so we're going to send you over there.
Do feel free to join the raid to Apex Hound. Apex Hound, good guy, known him for a while, worked with him a few times. So yeah, stick around for the raid. Before that happens though, Mr. Bibb, is there anything you want to add?
Yes, again, thank you very much to each and every single one of you that have joined us for today's episode of The Scoop. If you want to help shape the remaining shows this week, and there is 4 of them, there's 2 ways that you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. If you're watching this on any of our on-demand services, go into the description below. All the links that you require will be listed there, but all we need from you is URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
Tomorrow we'll be live with a scoop at 10 a.m. Ish. 10 a.m. Ish. As always, we do go live at 10 a.m. Ish. We work in the video games industry, so the streams drop in whenever we can fit them around that. But for now, though, stick around for the raid. We will drop the raid onto Apex Hound, big friend of the channel. He's playing golf. If it's not your bag, that's fine. Drop in, say hello. Drop a follow if you can, and drop a follow on us, and we'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. ish. Until then, stay frosty.